Happy Wednesday, everyone, and Happy New Year. Welcome to the first Detox Live of 2025. We are so excited each and every one of you have decided to join us today and start your new year off right by learning more about your health. Come on into the webinar room and say hi to your fellow viewers from around the globe in the chat. For those of you that are new to this webinar, my name is Dorothy and I have the amazing privilege of being your host. I bring you the most incredible doctors and practitioners that are changing the world so you can change your world. And speaking of changing the world, today's guest drew a line in the sand when she received a terminal diagnosis that she was going to change her world. She did that, and now she's changing the lives of thousands of people around the world. Melissa is an applied functional medicine practitioner specializing in autoimmune diseases, complex illness, mystery illness, and rare conditions. She is a published author, and we will put that link for you in the chat. It's very exciting that she's got an amazing book out. Educator, practitioner, and mentor. Her goal for her clients is sustainable wellness. And I love that goal. I mean, that's what we all want, right? Welcome back to the show, Melissa.
Oh, thank you so very much. I love doing this with you guys because,
So fun.
everybody that shows up, they're like, okay, I'm ready to learn. I'm ready to
Yeah.
lean in. I'm ready to do this for
Yeah.
me. And I just love that.
Yeah. Yeah. When you want to learn, like you get so much more out of it. You really do. Yeah.
Yes.
It's so cool. So you guys can connect with Melissa and her team at autoimmunerecovery.org. And I think
Mhm.
that's already in the chat. Thank you, Monica. So put your questions for Melissa in the Q&A tab of Zoom, and we will get to those later. So Melissa, many people want to start a detox journey, but they don't know where to start and they want to know what they're going to experience. They're a little scared. They don't know what to do.
Yep.
So we're
Oh,
going to
I love
guide
this
them.
conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The first thing
Awesome.
is like, congratulations on wanting to take control of your health. That's the first thing.
It's huge.
Yeah, it's massive. Yeah, the first
Yeah.
step. All right. So let's dive
Mm.
in.
All right. Let me share screen here. Actually put together a fun little. There we go. Can you see it?
Yeah, perfect.
Awesome. So literally, we're going to dive in. And this is what we're going to be talking about is how to begin a detox well and not have your body crash or feel like crap the whole time. So we're going to kind of do about, looking at about 3 different scenarios here and just talk through what you may want to do, what may make sense for you.
Mhm.
But as we're going through this really simple presentation today, I would love for you to have, I don't know if you're a pen and paper person like
Yeah, good
me,
idea. Good idea.
but take notes, lean into the things that make sense to you, that
Mhm.
resonate with you. Because believe it or not, your body has so much inner wisdom and so
Mhm.
much intuition that when we give ourselves permission to listen to that, it's much easier. We don't
Yeah,
bump our nose against the wall quite so often.
totally.
Oh, golly. All right. So, just a little bit about who I am. Get some of this stuff out of the way here. Um, you did a great job introducing me, so I'm not really going to go into this too much, except that I am fully recovered from multiple sclerosis, something that I was told I could never do.
Yeah.
And the detox process was a very big piece of my body being able to make room to recover. And I said that way on purpose because when your body and especially your immune system is working on so many things, it doesn't have the energy or space necessarily to actually create cellular recovery. So we're going to talk about this. This is really basic, foundational for just about any health concern that you might be looking at. Oops. All right. So one of the very, very first things I like to think about is what are your goals? So please get out your pen and paper because I want you to at least write these down and maybe take these away and look at those after we get done with the presentation today and really write in what have you not been happy with in this past year? And this seems potentially like kind of a dark question, but I want it to be retrospective
Mhm.
because often how do I say, our vision looking behind ourselves is 2020, right? Looking ahead, it's like, oh, well, we can make a great guess or create expectations and all of that. But looking behind, we can go, oh, what I thought was really going to be great was really not so great for me. Or I tried this and this was the outcome, and I didn't expect that. That was a little bit different than I thought. Or, wow, I just really did not take time for me. And now I'm feeling it. Okay. So be really specific about what you've not been happy with in the past year. And then how do you want this specific thing to be different this year? So let me give you an example. Um, Last year, I really, really was leaning into being able to kind of slow down. I'm a go-getter. I'm a driver. I know that's my nature. My body needed me to slow down, and I really did a bad job of it. So I'm recommitting this year to make this a different space for me because my body responds immediately to stress. And it's not a fun response. My body tells me, I need you to slow down. And there's no questions, there's no mediation, there's no argument. So, just kind of an example for you. And then, what do you want your health to look like? What are some intentions? What are some shifts that you want to make in your health? Please be very specific when you're writing these down because that follows on to what do you feel is your first step towards making that happen? Because this conversation today about detox may be where you want to start. It's,
Mhm.
it's bottom layer. If your body is not able to release toxins, like when I start working with a new client, that's the very first thing we start working on. Are your detox pathways working well? Because anything else we do after that, we'll be using those detox pathways. They have to be working well. So please write those questions down and revisit those for yourself, especially if you do meditation or quiet time in your day, or even on the weekend when you've got an hour or two to yourself. Sit with these questions and really lean into them. Let your intuition flow because what you want your life and your health to look like, it depends completely on you. It's kind of fun to think about, right?
It is.
Oh goodness. So this is what I've been hearing from my clients is the holiday ick is here. Like, oh my goodness, I loved going to grandma's house and having all the fun foods, but I feel like crap. And, my lupus is flaring, my whatever is flaring.
Mhm.
Yeah. So this is another reason to start just a gentle detox. Let your body get rid of the ick. All right, I'm going to move this over. So this is a question that I like to ask my clients, especially if they are brand new. Is a detox right for you? Is this potentially going to be the first time you tried a really deep detox? If your answer is yes, I do one every year or I do one every 6 months, you're going to be great, right? But if you have never done any type of a detox, I'm going to go through my recommendations for how to prep before you start your detox using food and lifestyle, okay? Because if your body is really, really slow or sluggish, or even some of your detox pathways kind of completely stopped, it's not going to be fun to go through a deep detox, like just dive right in. So one of the ways you can know if your detox pathways are open are you pooping at least once a day? If you are doing twice or three times a day, awesome. Are your bowel movements well formed? Are they stinky or not? Are they black or normal colored, like a good brown color? When you have an avocado or a fatty meal, do you feel great with it? Those are just some basic things to lean into and pay attention to when you're thinking about starting a detox. Especially if you haven't done much in kind of the holistic way of caring for your body. If you don't know what foods are causing inflammation for you, I highly suggest doing some sort of a food sensitivity test. And please don't do the $35 one. A client of mine just brought me this, and I don't even remember what company did it. I was like, oh my gosh, this is like 55% accurate.
Oh no.
So find a good one. I left a QR code for the one that I use in my clinic. You can actually order it from the lab if you want to, but find out what your food sensitivities are. Because when you're looking at a detox and you're really wanting to clear that whole pathway, eliminating as much inflammation as possible can be a huge player in making that process go smoothly.
Mhm.
So when you get your food sensitivity test back, the foods that are causing inflammation for you, please take those out of your diet. Don't fudge. So generally, food sensitivity tests have like 0 or 0 to 5 in reactivity that's green, and then they have layers that'll be yellow and red. The yellow and red foods, or the semi or highly inflammatory foods, please take both of those out. Generally, you're not going to be eliminating a whole food group, which is great, but this will put you much further ahead to be successful with your detox process and make it easy. Any thoughts around this, Dorothy?
It's funny because this is reminding me of two times in my life where my health was really, really bad. One was after I had postpartum depression with my first son, and I
Mm-hmm.
went to a homeopath. And this was, you guys got to remember, this is like 27 years ago. Okay, this was a bit ago. He did I'm not quite sure exactly what it was. It must have been some type of bioresonance test with me.
Probably.
And he gave me this list of foods that I could have, list of foods that I couldn't have, and then
It,
all these homeopathic remedies. And I was completely done
yeah.
with depression in 10 days. Like it was ridiculous. It was
Yeah.
awesome. And then similar incident, I had eczema really bad all around my eyes.
Oh, girl.
And same thing, he did some sensitivity
Mm-hmm.
testing and gave me a bunch of homeopathic remedies, and it was gone in a week.
Yeah.
Just by taking those out and then taking his
Yeah.
remedies, and it was great. I mean, this is so
Yeah.
far before Cellcore, right? I mean, would have been great if I would have had some binders and stuff, but
Oh, yeah.
didn't exist back then.
Yep.
So yeah,
So we
no,
did
that
what we
really
did,
it can
and
be
it worked.
extremely helpful. Yeah, it just gives your
Mhm.
body that because you're
Yes.
not giving it those foods that it just can't handle right now. And I added all those foods back, you guys, in short order. It was just they had to be taken out for a small amount of time.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. I like to lean into the food piece because, I mean, we get to choose what happens here. Like nobody's forcing anything in our mouths.
Yeah.
And even though maybe our very favoriteest ever food, that sounded like my kid talking, our very favorite food we can't have for a while. It's okay. It's probably not going to be forever. But if we give ourselves space and permission to take out the foods that are causing inflammation, that is such a great first line of reducing inflammation. And it's very often we can see the response, feel the response, literally our body going, ah,
Yeah. And just have the mindset, I'm
yeah.
doing this because I love myself.
Ooh, I love that.
Like I'm doing this for your future
Mhm.
Sally, Monica, Jason, whoever's on here. You're doing it
Yep.
for your future self.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's huge. All right, so this is a recommendation for individuals who have not done any detox work yet. So food sensitivity test, take out the foods that you know your body doesn't get along with. And let me say this, sometimes food sensitivities will not come back with a food that your body does not digest well. So, for example, I just did a food sensitivity test with a gal that she was having crazy diarrhea. I mean, to the point where she was white, shaky. She had lost so much weight. Her
Goodness.
hair was falling out. Just her body was severely malnutritioned. But she couldn't handle beef at all. Like everybody was saying, you need to eat beef, red meat, that'll help you come around. And her body was like, heck no. And we got her food sensitivity test back. And quite frankly, I expected beef to be on one of her, inflammation causing lists. But
Mhm.
what we found was she had marked H. pylori, barely any stomach acid. Like her body couldn't break
Oh,
that
yeah, that would have been a
dense of a
terrible
protein
combo.
down. So it'll come. She'll be able to do that after a bit here.
Mhm.
But just know that if there's foods that your body says, I love you, but no,
Yeah.
listen to that too, even if it's not a food sensitivity for you.
Yeah.
So step one is a food sensitivity test. Step two, work into optimal hydration. Y'all, this is huge. I love to get folks up to 64 ounces a day. Some people need more, some people need a little bit less. This is kind of a shooting towards the middle. See if we can get that for you. And if you struggle with fatigue, find some good electrolytes or start putting some Himalayan salt in your water, just a pinch, something to begin to really help your body hydrate. Step three, be sure you're having a bowel movement at least once per day. And we may have to work at that to get you there. Um, I didn't put any direct recommendations around this because this needs to be highly individualized. But two things that I like to recommend. One is magnesium citrate,
Mhm.
is to help move the bowel. Cellcore also has a a
Bowel
bowel
mover.
mover
Yeah.
supplementation that is quite helpful with this. So even before you start a deep detox, we need to make sure that you're having a good bowel movement at least once a day. Step four, begin using 1 to 2 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar with the mother in 4 to 6 ounces of water per day before you eat anything. Okay. We're really working on the pH balance in your stomach, in your gut, and ultimately in your body, as well as good live probiotic. That's so simple. Um, and then you can start using 1 to 2 cups of hot water with the juice of 1 to 3 lemons per day. If you are prone to having gallbladder attacks, or you know that your bile flow is pretty sluggish, you can go to the juice of 4 lemons a day because it really helps to thin the bile if you have any like gallstones forming or have formed. That will help to soften those and the body can start processing those through.
Funny, just you talking about this, I can like salivate. I'm like tasting that sour.
I love it.
Because
So a
apple
lot
cider
of people,
vinegar and lemon juice, woo.
yep, exactly. And a lot of people like to do, especially if they need a little bit of help with hydration, just helping your cells absorb the water.
Yeah,
You put a little bit of
definitely.
salt in your water and then you add, You can do lemons in cold water if you want to. Hot water is generally more effective at the beginning, but you can make your own lemonade and it's really yummy.
I do too, yeah.
So if you've done a detox before, you may be ready to just dive in. You can do full dosage and your body's like, oh yeah, I got you. But if it's been a while, or if you've been noticing that your detox pathways are really slowed, we're going to talk through how to do this. So if you're ready to do a detox, I love to start with either the Jumpstart Kit or phase 1 of Cellcore. What does this look like? So these are the supplements, pardon me, that are in the Jumpstart Kit and phase 1. And I want to really talk through these so that you can understand what they're doing. But before I get there, if it's been a while and your detox pathways are pretty darn slow, I would suggest starting with half dose.
Mhm.
We're going to look at the dosing chart, but I would start with half dose. And if that still feels like too much, you can either do quarter dose or a half dose every other day. All right. So your body, be sure to listen to your body. It will tell you, believe me, what it thinks about this. So let's talk first. I'm going to talk first about the KL support. This is kidney liver support. This one is very gentle. And if you feel like you need to kind of break up how you introduce these, I would start with KL support first. If you want to just start with one, introduce it for a week, make sure your body's good with it, and then bring another one in, you can do it that way too. I like to start with this one because it's gentle and so very nourishing to the liver, the gallbladder, and the kidneys. That is your primary detox pathway, you guys.
No.
If that's not working well, you're going to be feeling it. You're going to be tired, sluggish, aches and pains, that kind of thing. So I like to start here. This is a really powerful mix. The next one I would start with would be either BCATP or CT minerals. And start with the biotoxin binder last. And this is why. Because if you're already having trouble with bowel movements, by starting KL support, really increasing your water intake, hydrating, maybe using a bowel mover, something to bring in regular bowel movements, that needs to be in place when you start your biotoxin binder. Okay. So CT minerals, let's pop back into that. I love this one because it really helps to create a flow and clarity, I like to say at the cellular level. Helps to start your cells actually working a little bit better. Because remember, your cells take in food, nourishment, do their thing, and then they have to take out the garbage.
Mhm.
Part of the detox process. CT minerals helps to gently push that forward. BCATP helps to kind of piggyback onto that. A lot of times we see BCATP helping to increase energy. When you're doing a detox, it's extra work for your body. We want to make sure that you're not just dragging through your life. So
No doubt.
BCATP can really, really support you. And then biotoxin binder. I love, love, love this one because
Mhm.
anytime you start amping up your detox pathways, your body is going to do what it's designed to do, what it does naturally. It's going to get rid of the garbage. Biotoxin binder helps to attach to that, attract that, and escort it out of the body through the stool. So really great mix. Thoughts or questions around this before I go into the dosing chart?
I don't see any so far.
Okay. So here's the typical dosing chart. And some people like to do this detox or phase 1 once and then move into phase two or something like that, or go into another protocol. And we're going to talk about that next. But if this is a first time through experience for you, you may need 2 months of this
Yeah.
or 3 months of this. One of the things that I notice, and I'm guilty too, is we want to hurry. I mean, we wanted to be well yesterday or 20 years ago. Come on, let's be real. We don't, it's hard to wait.
Yes.
But sometimes our bodies need us to just hold steady and really get our detox pathways working well so that when we do choose to move on to the next layer, it's seamless and we get much better results.
Absolutely. And something I've noticed for myself, I don't know about you, Melissa, and your patients and whatnot, but in the winter months, like in January, everything for me is slower.
It
Everything.
is?
Like I need to absolutely lean into liver support and bowel
Yeah.
movement support. Like everything's just slower. I don't know if it's less sunlight, circadian rhythms. I don't know what it is. Everything needs a little extra help. So if you're starting your detox journey now, you might need those 2 months that Melissa's talking about.
Yeah. Totally agree. Well, think about this. I mean, we're in the rest season.
Yeah.
It's when nature takes a nap
Mhm.
and regenerates quietly.
Yeah.
And like I've got a lot of clients right now that are like, "Oh, let's do it, let's go." And I'm like, "Do you really feel like doing that or is this coming from, the media and other people in your world?" Yeah, I'm not really quite ready to just jump in with all 4 feet. I'm like, "Okay. Let's do something to maintain. Let's do something to move you towards your goal, but gently."
Yeah.
So let's talk about, yay, we're doing a detox. Now, what do we do next? What does our body need next? Because for a lot of people, this is layer one. We really get your body moving, taking out the kitchen garbage. You're feeling better. You're starting to feel more clarity. But now you feel like you're ready to start doing some of the deeper work. How do you know what you need and where to start? This is where I would say find a practitioner that you trust and lean in.
Yeah.
But for some people, that's not an option, whether it's financial concerns or they just feel like they're going to be pushed too fast, or they've worked with practitioners in the past who don't really lean in with them and they've kind of got burned and they're like, okay, I want to just try this on my own. That may be you. But if not, I really would recommend leaning in and finding a practitioner who can kind of walk you through this next phase. However, if you feel like you want to go it alone, look at the comprehensive protocol in Cellcore. You can just move through each layer by yourself and see how your body feels. This is a free resource that I've created for my people simply because I get people that come on and they're like, "Oh, I want to do this myself. I just want to do this myself. See what I can do." So this is a functional health assessment. And it's actually a Cellcore assessment form that you use your symptoms and fill it out. There will be a way to tally for each specific area of concern. So I think the first one is mitochondrial dysfunction, drainage, drainage dysfunction, and then we go through other areas of concern such as heavy metals, mycotoxins, lead toxicity, thyroid issues, that kind of thing. And you can actually go through the functional health assessment, tally up your answers, find your top 3 areas of concern, and then let that guide some of your decision making around, do I need additional testing? Do I want to just go through the mold protocol in Cellcore? Do I just want to go through the Lyme protocol? What feels best for me? So it takes a bit of time. I'm not gonna lie. Please have a cup of tea and maybe a snack when you start it. But it can give you so much information around what do I do next, right? Thoughts and questions around that, Dorothy?
Yeah, that assessment gives you a lot of insight. I highly recommend it. It's very comprehensive. And like Melissa says, it takes a minute.
My son, I learned a new one. He always would say, "Oh, it takes a minute." And this weekend he's like, "It'll take a fat minute." And I'm like, "Oh, I like that. This will take a fat minute."
That's awesome.
Oh gosh. And if you need to book in for just a free consultation with myself or a team member to kind of get some direction, here's a QR code for that. So that's pretty much what I have for you. I want you to really feel free to lean into any questions that you have. That's just a quick overview, kind of an intro into basic detox. What does it look like? What does it feel like? And how can you really succeed in doing that deep first layer?
Love it. All right. Okay, we've got a couple questions here. You guys can put more questions in the Q&A and we will get to them. Anonymous is asking, can you share more about how to eliminate sensitivity in the short term? I think term she meant to say. I've removed eggs for over a year and still come up. Had no noticeable reaction when I eat it, but now my body rejects eggs.
Yeah. So there may be foods that your body is never going to be okay with. Um, Eggs may be that for you.
Mhm.
I obviously I've not looked at your test results and whatever, but there are sometimes foods that your body's like, I love you, but I can't handle that.
Yeah.
So excellent job of listening and going, ugh, I just don't think they're going to work for me.
Mhm.
And give your body permission and yourself permission to go, okay, maybe I won't do eggs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A couple of other things that come to mind when you say that, Anonymous. Where are you getting your eggs from? What is
Mm,
your source? That really, really matters.
yeah.
What are those chickens being fed?
Yeah.
Right? Like I know my dad, he has chickens and he feeds them gluten-free, soy-free feed. So that is
Nice.
not in the eggs.
Nice.
That makes a huge difference. The other thing is look around to see if you have an organic duck egg farmer. We had one around here when my kids were little because my kids used to be allergic to chicken eggs. And duck eggs are completely different because they are from a waterfowl and people tolerate them. So that's another thing that you can do. The other thing that I would say is NAET, Namber allergy elimination technique that can help you to be unsensitive, if you will. That's another way you can get around that too.
Yeah. So I want to add a note to that just a little bit. The gal that I just was talking about earlier, she had that technique done around gluten. And it didn't show up in a food sensitivity test, but when we did her gut Zoomer and we also did a neurology test, both places she was still showing as highly sensitive to it.
Mm.
So doing a very deep anti-gliadin test and then understanding what was causing some of her neurological symptoms, because her body wasn't popping as sensitive for gluten, she thought she was fine until we did deeper work. So that sometimes can really work. But if the symptoms and kind of the overall dis-ease process continues to go forward, please do some deeper testing and see what your body says on a deeper level. Does that make
Yeah,
sense?
gluten's one of those tough ones because of the molecular mimicry. Like
Yeah.
that one's really, ugh, that one you might
Yeah.
not get over. I think eggs you could probably get over, Anonymous, but wheat's tough. Laura, I have major acid reflux problems and there's no way I could handle all that lemon juice and apple cider vinegar. Is there something else I can do?
I want so bad to have a conversation with you about this because believe it or not, sometimes apple cider vinegar can stop acid reflux in its tracks.
Mhm.
And Like we think, oh my goodness, it's so high in acid. But sometimes the reason you're having acid reflux is because one, you don't have enough stomach acid to break down the food that you're bringing in. Or number two, it's not like the pH balance is not high enough for your body to actually break down food. So I'm going to grab a book for you, love.
All right, I can't wait to find out what book this is.
My stash. So I would highly recommend this
Oh, I
book.
love it. Okay. Oh,
Okay.
another thing about acid reflux, I'm sure Melissa was going to mention it now, is go to your chiropractor and make sure that that sphincter isn't malfunctioning. That's
Exactly.
another
Or
thing
we don't
too.
have a hidden hiatal hernia.
Yeah.
Yeah. Another thing that can really bring on acid reflux is food sensitivities.
Yeah.
That can really drive that. I don't know how do I say this? How deep you want to go, but acid reflux is not something to play around with.
Mhm.
So, yeah, lean into that. Your body is
She
really,
says, yes, I'm sure I have a hiatal hernia.
oof, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, definitely
Okay,
get that
so
addressed.
if you do have a hiatal hernia, I would highly recommend, there's several different practitioners that do great maneuvers, like teaching you how to actually do your own self maneuver to pull that down so that your hernia isn't sticking up and really making that sphincter malfunction, right? Because you
Mhm.
can manually work that down and learn how to keep doing that until it kind of stays down. If you don't feel like comfortable with that, work with your chiropractor and ask them to help teach you how to do that. Does that make
Yeah.
sense?
Yeah, absolutely. And back to what Melissa was saying before about kale support, and you didn't mention advanced TUDCA because it's not in the Jumpstart kit, but those two products also will help with the bile flow because there's a
Oh, yeah,
feedback loop telling your tummy to not make the stomach acid because there's no bile flow. So
exactly.
it's a process.
It's a process. Yep.
Oh, someone's asking you to hold the book up again. They probably didn't quite.
Oh, sure.
Why stomach acid is good for you. Natural relief from heartburn, indigestion, reflux, and GERD. Perfect.
Yeah. This actually revolutionized my early practice because I was like, are you kidding me? Because I was taught that, if you have heartburn, indigestion, GERD, there's too much stomach acid, you need to suppress it.
Yeah,
And that never worked. It only would make it worse. I'm like, I'm missing something.
totally.
And found this book and it changed what I know
Yeah,
and how I
absolutely.
practice.
I have a funny story about that. My kids, my older son, they had a lot of orthodontic issues, and our orthodontist was 3 hours away. And the
Oh,
night before we had this big appointment, Josh, he was just like, Mom, I'm gonna throw up. I'm like, no, you're not. We need to go to that appointment tomorrow. So I gave him a huge shot of apple cider vinegar. I said, this is either gonna make you throw up or it's gonna go away. I don't know which one it'll do, but it's gonna do something. And he's like, oh, and he drank it. He went to bed and we went to Calgary the next day, no problem. Totally took care of his stomach aches. So,
love it.
yeah,
Yeah.
my poor kids, what I did to them. Anyway,
Ah, oh, golly.
terrible when your mom's a practitioner.
Right.
Okay, could you share supplement recommendations for staying healthy while traveling for 2 to 3 months?
Ooh. Um, just some basic supplementation that I would use is make sure you take a binder with you. Biotoxin binder works really great. It's very broad spectrum, easily handled. I would take either KL support or TUDCA. I like TUDCA myself, just to
Hmm.
make sure that your bile flow is happening very, very well. Um, Let me think, because you're going to get into all kinds of things. I always take Para One,
Hmm.
especially if I'm going someplace I don't know what the food's going to be like. And I take digestive enzymes with me all the time when I travel, because again, I don't know what the food's going to be like. That's kind of my what you'll find in my travel bag when I'm going somewhere because, I want to make sure that I'm going to be as healthy as possible.
Absolutely. I throw some BCATP in there too. Just keep your
Ooh, yeah.
energy up while you're traveling.
Yeah.
That'd be a good one.
Love it.
All right. I have done many of the full moon challenges and every time had worm looking things in my bowel movements. 1 month ago, I did another full moon challenge, but used another company's organic Mosputica and no worms came out. Do you think that Cellcore's Mosputica could be what worms look like? I've heard this subject come up. Oh, you know what? I will say other companies, anonymous, they don't just use the seed and they use very poor seed. They'll throw all kinds, like the leaves in there and the roots. You don't want that. You do not want that stuff. It doesn't work the same whatsoever. It
Not
doesn't have the
strong enough.
same benefits.
Mm-mm.
No.
No.
All right. Lisa's asking, so acid reflux,
Hmm.
chiropractor question mark, can you explain? I had my sphincter muscle cut during a procedure.
Oh,
I know better now, but didn't then, and I have a lot of acid reflux.
wow. I am so sorry, first of
Yeah.
all.
Yeah.
Oy, yeah. So that's going to be a challenge for you. Do you do acupuncture? Do you have a chiropractor that you see that can help you with this? Because there may be ways to strengthen what you have. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
But I would fully explore what foods work for you and what foods don't, simply because I feel like there's like you're gonna maybe need to be a little bit more careful than the average Joe, just to make sure that your digestive system is cared for.
Yeah. For sure.
Um, Probably bile flow is going to be a little bit more important for you. Um, yeah. I don't know what you've tried and found to work and not to work, but um, there may be ways to strengthen the sphincter muscle, what you have there,
Mhm.
what's left.
And if you find someone that's really good at visceral manipulation, they might be able to unwind the fascia that's
Mm.
all tensed up there, and you might actually have some real success. You obviously can't get something back that's been cut, but there's some problems that went away that I thought I'd have to live with the rest of my life when I went to a really good person that knew their stuff with visceral manipulation. So
Yeah.
I would definitely give that a shot for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. One thing I was going to circle back what you said before, you were talking about the person that couldn't eat beef and stuff.
Hmm.
I just wanted to lean into what you're talking about, intuition, right? Because
Yeah.
there's so many polarized diets right now and just polarized everything, right? Whether it's like people fasting so much, you're like, you need some nutrients, come on. And then there's other people that they're eating so much, you're like, what is going on? And then only beef, only this, only that. And pay attention to what your body's telling you, you know? Not
Yeah.
everything's going to work for everybody,
Yeah.
especially
I have
diet.
clients that get really seriously upset with me when they come in and we do our first big session and they're like, "What diet do you want me to be on?" I'm like, "Well, just eat whole foods right now
Yeah.
until we figure out what your body needs and doesn't need." They're
Yeah.
like, "What kind of, they almost feel like they've been slighted." But, until we know literally what foods your body needs and what foods your body does not need or are
Mhm.
causing issues for your body, eat broad variety, whole foods.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Everyone's wondering the name of the food sensitivity test, I think.
So the one that I shared with the QR code is from Vibrant Wellness. It's the Food Sensitivity Complete Panel.
Okay. Someone's asking, what's the best time of day to take binders in relation to supplements and meals?
Binders, you want to take most of the binders kind of away from supplements and meals in between. So a lot of my folks do their supplementation in the morning. like with breakfast or right after breakfast, sometimes before, depending on what the requirements are for the specific supplements. And then either before they have lunch or after lunch, we'll do one round. And then a lot of times after dinner, before they go to bed, they'll do another round.
Laura's asking, how do you know when you're done with a phase? I have been on phase one for 2 months and still don't have the full dose. That's okay, Laura.
I was going to say it's okay, and you're not done.
Yeah.
It's okay. Your body needs some time here. You know, it's okay to just set up camp and spend some time here.
Low is the new fast. It
Yeah.
really, really is. And Laura, I don't know too much about your health journey, but if you think about if you're recovering from something big, like a surgery or a car accident or something like that, you just wouldn't expect yourself to be running a marathon in 2 months, right? So if you've been sick for a lot of years, just just give yourself some space to heal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
It's
50%.
almost about giving ourselves permission and giving our
Yes.
bodies permission to have the room to do the work.
Mhm. So Donna's asking, is the lemon juice amount per glass or total over a couple of glasses?
It depends on how you want to do it. Like when I'm doing lemon juice for a reason for myself, I like to split it up between 2 cups of hot water, like mugs of hot water, just because I'm an I'm a lightweight. I can take so much sourness in 1 cup and that's it. So I split it. But some people, like my husband, he'll pour it into a shot glass and
Yeah.
knock it back. And I'm just like, holy crap, that would make me puke. I couldn't do it. But he loves it. It's good.
Yeah.
And so play with it. But I like to think of like if you're doing the juice of 4 lemons in a day, whether it's all at once or whether you spread it out in your water, that can be your choice.
Absolutely. All right. Let's see if there's some more questions. Oh, shoot. My cursor did something weird there. Sorry about that. Um, if you get mouth sores from acid foods, then what? Can you take lysine for that?
Ooh, so mouth sores from like a
I think she
citrus.
means from the lemon juice or the apple cider vinegar.
Yeah. Um, then we need to think about something besides those to really support your digestive system and start to thin the bile.
Mhm.
Yeah, because that's not okay.
Definitely. Yeah, I definitely start with maybe, can you do a lower dose, Donna? Like just half a lemon? Something like that.
If you're reacting to the protein, it may still have it may be a small
Yeah.
reaction,
Hmm.
but it will still be some. So I would think about using something different. So maybe you want to go right to TUDCA. And even if you can't do a whole capsule's worth of TUDCA, you can even open it up and stir it into something. It tastes horrible, but you can put it in something to be able to, kind of get a smaller dosage. TUDCA works pretty good though. I mean,
Oh,
it's pretty gentle.
yeah. So good. There's so many benefits. It literally helps every cell in the body, you guys. It's not
Oh,
just about
so
bile
good.
flow. It's way, way bigger than that. I just
Yeah.
want to read Nicole's little testimonial here. This is really good advice. And she's speaking of doing more than 1 month of the jump start. I did the comprehensive detox last year for the entire year, along with healing my gut. I spent extra time on certain phases of the detox. I
Mhm.
found that doing both helped to heal my thyroid and helped improve my inflammation.
Yes, it's huge. Excellent work.
Yeah, so good. And those are things that we didn't even talk about, right? We didn't even talk about IFC, to
Right.
help with
I know.
inflammation. And that can be added at any part of the protocol, you guys. That's
Mhm.
that's another really gentle product too.
Yep.
That's an awesome product. So,
Yeah. Something else that I like to think about simply because inflammation is not, I mean, there's always a reason, right? And sometimes it takes a little bit of digging and sometimes more than a little bit of digging to figure out what is driving that for you. But another driver for inflammation in the body can be trauma
Mm-hmm.
and things like that. And I love if I muscle test a client and they're open to using ME support. That is just a good basic. I
Yeah.
love watching how that supports people.
Mm-hmm.
It's I like to say it's sunshine in a bottle.
Oh,
Um,
I like that.
but it's so helpful. Sometimes you can only handle a drop at the beginning
Mm-hmm.
and then work up slowly. But anytime you're doing this kind of deep work, I like to add in that piece as well.
Yeah. Yeah. So Pia's asking, what is IFC?
Um,
IFC is an awesome combination of anti-inflammatory herbs
yep.
and botanical. It's incredible stuff. My husband takes it a lot of times after he plays hockey with guys much younger than him, and so he's a little sore the next day. So, yeah.
Oh gosh. Yeah.
When is the best time to take TUDCA? I have some on hand, but not kale support. Are they both helpful interchangeably? No, kale support and TUDCA aren't the same.
Yeah. They're not the same thing.
No.
No.
TUDCA is actual bile salts and bile acids, whereas
Yep.
kale support is a combination of herbs that influence and support the bile flow and liver
Ex-
function and kidney function. So they're
Yeah.
quite different.
Yeah.
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 Um,
I love that explanation. I'm such a Tedka fan because it's just good for so many things. But for a lot of folks, I start with kale support if they
yeah,
don't feel like they're ready to move into Tedka.
yeah.
And even though it's not interchangeable, um, the body responds in different ways to
Mhm.
both of those.
Allison, if you're looking for really in-depth information, if you go to the Detox Heroes Facebook group and you become a part of it, there's several guides in
Yeah.
there that really dive into all the awesome research on TUDCA. It's good for your
Yes.
heart. It's good for your brain. It's good for absolutely everything.
Yeah,
So,
it is. I
yeah.
love.
When you started your detox journey,
Mhm.
Melissa, back when you're sort of in the throes of that diagnosis and everything,
Yeah.
what were some of the pitfalls that you hit that you just want other people to avoid?
The very first one that pops into my head when you say that is, this is stupid. It's not gonna work. How can something so simple change this huge diagnosis for me?
Yeah, I love that.
Oh, I was like, is this really, it just feels so dumb because it's a gentle shifts. It's gentle shifts. And
Mhm.
thank goodness it was gentle shifts. Like some of the very first things that I had to do to start the detox process for me was bringing in magnesium, bringing in the apple cider vinegar, bringing in the lemon, because I'd never done anything like that. And
Mhm.
regular bowel movements for me was like, I mean, once a week, like clockwork.
Really? Oh, wow.
It was like, oh my goodness, I had so far to go. And
Mm.
thankfully, the practitioner I was working with was so patient and listened to my outbursts and listening to my, this is just so dumb, sitting there in tears. But yes, I'll keep trying. Yes, I'll keep doing this. And it paid off.
So good. That's
Yeah.
so good.
Yeah. We used we didn't have Cellcore stuff back then. And so we used a lot of work on the gallbladder, a lot of work on the liver,
Mm.
really making sure that the detox pathway was working well. I
Yeah.
ate so much broccoli and cauliflower and Brussels sprouts, I thought they were going to come out my ears, but it worked.
That's fantastic.
So
Mm.
all I can say is, y'all, it's worth it. I get to live a completely recovered life.
Yeah,
I
it is
know
so worth it.
that was possible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm glad you just kept the mindset, just like, oh, this is dumb, but I'm going to keep going.
Yeah. When he told me to stop having gluten, I mean, I was a ranch cook. I mean, I was known everywhere for my bread and rolls
Oh,
and
yeah.
all the things, you know? Like, that's just so dumb.
Mhm.
But within a week of taking that out, I started to get tinglies in my
Oh,
left hand, and I
it's
hadn't had pain in
huge.
my left hand for probably 10 to 12 years.
Oh my goodness.
I was like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Was that easy?
Gluten's such a big one for some people. Oh my goodness. It's so big.
Yeah,
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think and one thing there is that you were willing,
yeah,
right? You were willing to try those little steps, and then that led you to the
yes.
bigger ones and the bigger breakthroughs, and you just
Mm,
kept on going.
yeah.
Yeah.
Feeling good is addictive. I'm just telling you.
It is. It totally is. Yeah. Yeah,
Oh,
definitely.
so for each of you that are listening, I would be if I could tell you one thing from my heart
Mhm.
is lean in to what you know now. Lean into that. Let your intuition guide you. And if you're stuck and you're like, "Oh, I don't even know what that looks like, feels like, whatever, I need some help," lean into finding somebody to walk
Mhm.
this road with you,
Yeah.
somebody that you trust, somebody that you feel comfortable with. Because, how do I say this well? This can be a very deep journey because there's always
Mhm.
reasons why we make the choices that we make. There are
Mhm.
reasons why our body has gotten to the place where it is. And I think we forget that we have the choices, or the choices that we make can make a huge difference in whether we continue to feel worse or whether we're starting to move towards wellness.
Mhm.
Lean into what you know now, lean into your intuition, search for what you need, and don't give up because it's worth it. It is
Yep,
so
it
worth it.
is. And I'm a firm believer of like ask, seek, knock.
Yeah,
If you don't give up, you will find answers. You really
exactly.
will. They are out there. Even my own doctor, he didn't know what to do with me, when I went back and had that EDS diagnosis. He's like, somebody's doing something somewhere that works.
Yeah. So let's,
Somebody somewhere in the world. You just have to find it.
yeah,
So,
yeah. So
and
don't give
whatever
up on
you're
yourself.
exactly, you are so worth it, and your family, your future, it's all so worth it. One day at a time.
Yeah.
All right, we are going to go to the giveaway quick. And our winners of the Cellcore coupon code are Marie Lynette, Kyle Griffin, and Suzanne Johnson. Congratulations to you three. Make sure you put serviceteam@cellcore.com into your address book. And just a friendly reminder, you've got 30 days to use that coupon code. If you haven't already done so, make sure you join our group on Facebook called the Detox Heroes. There are tons of supportive people in there that are going through the same journey as you. They can guide you, they can encourage you, they can support you. And there's a whole guide section in there, and that's where the video of this will be once it's finished. And you can rewatch it and keep learning. Thanks again, Melissa.
Oh, you're so welcome.
That was so much fun.
We always have fun.
We do. We have so much fun. And we were talking before we started, guys, like Melissa and I were talking. And there's just something about hearing from someone who's experienced the trenches. And Melissa's been there. Like she has super, super been there where, the feeling in her hand, she couldn't even grab anything anymore.
Yeah.
Right? Like she's been the lowest of the low. So she gets you. I get you. I've been there as well. Um,
Yep. Yep.
there's just something about people who have been there and overcome, and then now helping other people overcome. So
Exactly.
it's a beautiful, beautiful cycle.
Love it.
Thank you all for being here, and we will see you all next week. Bye for now, everyone.